Good morning, dear students. Today we discuss a important topic of pattern allowance. So basically, patterns can be defined as a replica of desired casting, which used to produce the mold cavity in the sand. The patterns are slightly larger than the desired casting because of the incorporation of various allowances in it. So when we do sand casting, we need a pattern. Pattern is a model or replica of the casting to be made. There are many pattern allowances that are incorporated in a casting to make a defect-free, dimension accurate casting. So when we talk about pattern, so one of the most important pattern allowance is the shrinkage or contraction allowance, because when we pour the metal in a casting mold cavity, it is in a liquid state. So when the phase changes from liquid to solid, shrinkage is obvious phenomenon. There are some other allowances are also there, like draft allowance, machining allowance, distortion allowance, and shake allowance. But the most important one is the shrinkage allowance. So when we talk about shrinkage allowance, as we all know that metal shrinks or contract volumetrically on cooling. So in casting, the metal shrinkage is of two types. One is liquid shrinkage and second one is solid shrinkage. You can see the graph. When we pour the metal, after some time it solidifies and it changes from liquid state to solid state. So there is a shrinkage, and that shrinkage is compensated by the riser provided in the casting mold. But when metal solidifies and it loses its temperature from its freezing temperature, then it also contracts, and that contraction or that shrinkage is compensated by the shrinkage allowance. So there must be clarification that, and it must be noted, it is worth for noting that the liquid shrinkage is not compensated by the shrinkage allowance. Shrinkage allowance only compensate the part when metal solidifies and it comes to the room temperature. That shrinkage is covered by the shrinkage allowance. Second one is the draft allowance. In draft allowance, a taper is provided on vertical surfaces of pattern so that they can be ejected out easily. You can see from the figure that when no taper is provided, it seems difficult to eject the pattern from the casting, while when taper is provided in the same casting, it can be easily removed. You can also correlate it with ice creams. They are also tapered so that they can easily pick up from their mold. Ice creams are always tapered, and some conical shaped are there. So because of to eject out from the mold, they are given they are provided with a draft allowance. Machining allowance. Machining is required because the surface finish of the casting is very poor. So if we need a good surface finish, a machining has to be done, and for that purpose a machining allowance of 1 to 2 mm is provided on cast. Distortion allowance. This allowance is provided if the casting have some non-uniform sections. Because of different rate of cooling, the section will distort. You can see from the figure that this is the I channel, which after distortion becomes some curve, having some curved shape. To eliminate this type of defect in casting, a distortion allowance is provided, and that allowance will be in form of shape, no, not additional some dimensional is given. We have to change the geometry. If the straight I section takes a form of curved form, then we make a reverse of it. May make a reverse of if it bulges in this form, we make some depression in it. So we have to converge it slightly inward so that after making or after a distortion, it will become upright or become straight. Shake allowance. Shake allowance is because when the pattern is embedded in the sand and we have to eject it out, during the ejection process, it shakes slightly and enlarges the mold cavity to facilitate its removal. So in pattern, we have to take care of shake allowance, and we have to reduce the dimensions of pattern accordingly. It is a negative allowance. All allowances are positive, only shake allowance is a negative allowance, and it is applied parallel to the parting line because shaking enlarges the cavity in a parallel to the parting line. So this is all about pattern and its allowances. Thank you.